Okay, y'all, check this out. I have been talking to you guys now for the last I don't know how many minutes, and never touched the record button. So now I finally touched the record button. I did all of that talking, I guess for myself. But anyway, I'm here now. I kind of wanted to give you an idea of some of my pieces that I painted. So let me position myself. I have a laptop in my lap. I want to give you an opportunity to just kind of see some of my work. Okay, let me get this camera position. Okay, so here we go. Excuse me. Like I was telling you, I was raised by my adopted parents in the church, Baptist, straight Baptist Christian. And like I said, my experiences are reflected here in one of these pieces. This is me in the Baptist church right here. And we make sure y'all can see that real good. If you can see this, this is kind of giving you an idea. Um, can't tell if that's right or not. Here is my pastor, Pastor Lewis, T.L. Lewis at the Bethel Baptist Church in Pratt City. That's him with that all that jewelry he had on. That's what the Baptist Church was all about to me. It was all about collecting money so the pastor can ride nice cars and wear nice threads. So, and as you look at the bottom of the piece here, you can actually see how the women just loathed over him. They thought he was a superstar, and that's the usher collecting the money. So this was what the Baptist church represented to me. A lot of greed, you know. And I kind of wanted to that's why I got away from that and started exploring the craft, because I just really think that there's too much to offer in life than just material things, nice suits, nice cars. It's so much obstruction and stuff like that going on in the churches and stuff. Women sleeping with the pastor got children by other members of the church, and just so much scandal going on. So that's why I came to where I'm at right now, and I'm much more satisfied. And so since I made that transition from the church to just making the world my church, the trees, the flowers, the sky, the moon, being able to worship everything that's created instead of just worshiping the four walls and stuff. It's brought me to this in my artwork. Here's a piece right here where I am celebrating nature. And as you look at this picture, you can see the flowers and the spiritual flowers actually have beings coming out of them. And the flower that doesn't have a being it hadn't quite grown spiritual. So that's what that represents. And that stone at the top is what I call it the Holy Spirit. It's the onyx. That's the spirit to me. And it's actually watering the flowers. That's why I call it growing in the spirit. Okay. Now here's one. Like I told you, my father passed in December of '07. He was 81 years old. Here's one. Here's a tribute to him, and that's him walking into the light and making a transition into the other world. It helped me to kind of cope with my grieving, to know that he made it over into the light. So, okay, here's another one that I've done. I would kind of class this one when I was painting the gospel scenes. That's what I put this one in, the gospel scene classification. Not in the spiritual, but more or less the gospel classification. As you can see, there's a train going on in the background. and two, you know, big women gossiping. Okay, now what that one represents, that's not quite like, oh, in the 1800s or nothing like that. That's like pretty recent. I said like in the 1960s. That's one that my birth aunt kind of like told a story to me. My birth aunt used to pick cotton back in the late 60s and early 70s. She used to pick cotton because there was still some places in Alabama, between Bullock County and Lowndes County, where they were still picking cotton, in 60 and 1970, whatever. And she told me that, at the time she'd make like $3 a day picking cotton. And I was shocked because I thought cotton gins did that job. But she said, oh, no, we still was picking cotton. So there's a lot of people in Alabama still hadn't overcame, I guess, even here in Georgia, for a period of time they were still picking cotton. And if I'm not mistaken, there is still some places where humans are picking cotton at this point. Because there's like this, in Birmingham, Alabama, they call it the catch out corner. And Willie, Willie, get Mr. Doggy out of here before he bites something, a wire or something. Get him, cause I'm in the middle of a video. And excuse me. So it's some places that people are still picking cotton, and not making any wages in Alabama and here in Georgia too. People, Alabama get the bad rap all the time, but Georgia's right along with it. I mean, both of them are southern states and stuff like that, and it's sad, but she shocked me when she said this. So that's when I came up with this painting to kind of represent the times they were still putting the little head rags over their heads and picking cotton and humming that old, Negro spiritual and stuff, 'cause, anyway, this painting represents that. They still had people watching over them and making sure they did what they were supposed to do, and it was like another form of slavery because that was the only work for them to do was to pick cotton in 1960 and 1970, and so my birth mom just talked about what a time she had in Alabama. What a time. And it would bring tears to your eyes if you heard her story. And knowing that even in 1960, 1970, it was much of nothing out there, she told me about the shanty that she lived in. Said it was like one room shanty, just one room. And it had a pot-belly stove in it, and just had cracks, and you can actually look and just see where the forks and spoons just drop, and you could see them under there, and they would have to buy new forks and spoons once that fork and that spoon dropped in there. It was crazy. The walls were made out of newspaper. They didn't have walls like we have now. When the walls wore out, the actually what the newspaper did, there were cracks, you know, in the walls and let the wind in. So you take and you put newspaper over it, and you keep layering it with newspaper. And then as it ages and turn brown or get worn out, you take new newspaper over it. You just kept doing that and building it up. And like if a holiday came, you get you some brand new fresh newspaper and put it over the old newspaper and make it look all new again. So that was the type of life she had. It was really sad, and didn't have running water, whatever. um, I was like, how did you go to the bathroom? What is a bathroom? Is what she said. And we didn't have one. Oh, I said, oh, you had an outhouse. Let me tell y'all what an outhouse is. I got a chance to go in one when I was a little child in Bullock County, Alabama, which is Union Springs, Alabama. I got a chance to go in one. It's just like a little small wooden little room that's made. When you got to go to the bathroom, you go inside of it and you just sit down on there and use it, and whatever you do, you will go straight down in the ground. So that was an outhouse, and you'd have turkeys on top of it, chickens. You'd be dodging roosters and hens and stuff like that to get to it. So